So think about this. What would it actually take to make you switch from a tool you absolutely love, one that's a core part of your daily workflow?
Man, that's a tough sell. You're talking about breaking habits, messing with muscle memory. It would have to be something pretty incredible, right?
Well, today we're digging into the story of a developer who was completely all in on Claude Code, absolutely thriving with it, until a reluctant little experiment with GitHub Copilot ended up changing everything for him. And this quote just nails his mindset perfectly. It's that classic, if it ain't broke, don't fix it feeling.
Totally. And for him, it wasn't just not broken. Claude was a total game changer. He was building entire applications faster than he ever thought possible, especially overcoming his own limits on the user interface side. So when Copilot came along, he was basically like, thanks, but I'm good.
All right, so here's how we're going to break down his journey. First, we'll look at why he was so happy with Claude in the first place. Then we'll see the one key thing that tempted him to even give Copilot a shot.
From there, we'll get into the brand new structured workflow he basically had to invent, see it in action with a really cool chess app project, and finally get to the big reveal, his final verdict.
Okay, so first up, let's dive into that comfort zone. We have to understand where he was coming from to see why the switch was such a big deal.
Exactly. He's a back-end developer. He's got his system, his tools. But these new AI assistants were quickly becoming less of a toy and more of a genuine superpower for him.
And Claude Code was the tool for him. I mean, it basically turned him into a full-stack developer overnight. All that UI work that used to be a major roadblock, suddenly it just wasn't a problem anymore.
So you can imagine when he decided to give GitHub Copilot a spin, even with the powerful new models, he was 100% sure he'd be right back to Claude in a day or two. This was just a little test, nothing serious.
But there was one killer feature that got him really curious, and it actually had nothing to do with the power of the AI model itself.
Nope. It was all about how the tool fit into his world. It was that promise of a truly seamless, native experience right inside his code editor.
And this is where the difference became so obvious. He described using Claude as feeling like an add-on, like something bolted on. It worked, sure, but it felt separate and was always pulling him out of his flow.
Right, but Copilot felt like it was part of his IDE, IntelliJ IDEA, from the factory. It was just there, part of the dashboard. All of a sudden he could navigate files, refactor code, and even create pull requests without ever leaving that single screen. The context switching just vanished.
And look, for anyone who isn't a developer, this might sound like a small detail, but it is everything.
Oh, it's huge. Your IDE is your cockpit. Every single time you have to switch windows or applications, you risk breaking that precious flow state, that deep concentration. By keeping him in one place, Copilot was protecting his focus. And that's not just a convenience, it's a massive productivity advantage.
So he's sold on the integration. But this is the point in the story where he realizes just using Copilot isn't enough to get these amazing results.
Exactly. To really, truly unlock its potential, he had to invent a whole new way of working. He needed to build a system, a structured environment for the AI to operate in.
And this was his new playbook. First, create a standardized project template so the AI knows the basic layout every single time. Then define a clear architecture. It's all about creating predictability. Right, and then he started using Copilot's specialized tools. He used agents to handle big, complex tasks like building out a whole feature, and skills, which are kind of like little custom shortcuts you can teach the AI. And that third step, standardizing his commit messages, sounds a little nerdy, but it turned out to be absolutely critical.
It really is. Using a standard like conventional commits means every single change to the code is logged perfectly in a way that a machine can easily understand. When you're about to let an AI agent build and submit features on its own, it needs that structured history to avoid making a mess. It's like giving it guardrails.
All right, so the theory is sound, the workflow is designed. Now for the final exam.
Yep, it's time to put it all to the test by building a real-world project, a web app designed to help you study chess openings. This is where the rubber meets the road.
And this was such a clever way to test it because he'd already built something really similar using Claude. That meant he had a perfect baseline for comparison.
Exactly. It's as closest to a true A/B test as you can get in development. He could compare everything. How fast was it? What was the quality of the final code? How was the architecture? A direct apples-to-apples showdown.
And this quote right here is the biggest revelation from the entire experiment. This is the aha moment. This is where the light bulb goes on. He realized his most important job wasn't writing little prompts for the AI anymore. His job was to write excellent, high-quality documentation. The technical spec, the feature description, that was the new prompt.
So what does that actually look like? Well, here's the blueprint he built. He'd start with a master project document. That's the 30,000-foot view. The vision, the technical rules, the constraints. And then, for every single feature, he'd create a separate, super detailed file. This whole structure gave the AI a clear, unambiguous, and version-controlled set of instructions. There was no guesswork involved.
And the payoff was, well, it was kind of mind-blowing, seriously. He would just point the AI agent at one of his feature files, and it would just take over. We're talking creating a new branch, writing all the code, making clean commits according to his rules, and then writing a full-on pull request explaining what it did, complete with screenshots of the UI it had just built. This is so far beyond simple code completion.
Okay, so after all that, we get to the final showdown, the verdict. Yep, the developer who started as a firm Claude loyalist has seen what the other side has to offer. So, who wins?
And here's his final scorecard. It's really fascinating. He actually still gives the edge to Claude's AI models. On pure performance, he thinks they're still the best in the business. But, and this is the big but, for his workflow, Copilot won, hands down. That flawless IDE integration, the more structured ecosystem of agents and skills, and even the better pricing just made it a better overall package for him. He made the switch, and it was permanent.
And this whole experience led him to this pretty profound conclusion about where software development is headed.
Yeah, he basically says the job itself is fundamentally changing. Maybe tomorrow your most valuable skill isn't actually writing the code, but being the architect, the one who designs the playground and the rules for the AI to follow.
Which really leaves us with this huge question, doesn't it? It's something anyone in this field should be thinking about right now. For sure, as these AI partners get more and more capable, is our most important skill shifting away from writing code and toward architecting the context? It's a massive shift in thinking, something to chew on. Thanks for joining us.